Yes, I think it's great. We've always talked about running a lean government and the fact that the size of government was too big and expensive, not efficient, etc. So 50 looks like a figure we can work with. Mahama is promising 60. So if Mahama is promising 60, and it appears to be a major talking point in all of the things, then let me promise 50 so that I take the wind out of his sails. So now 60 is no more attractive. Okay, 50 is more attractive. So whether you can do it or not, you take out, the goodness from that message. So I think that's what he tried to do. I think we should be able to run the country with even 40 or 45 ministers. So let's see how he does that. But for me, generally, I think it was a good program. I enjoyed President Kufuor's short remarks at the beginning of it. We miss his voice, we miss a lot of it. And how, he recounted the first time he saw him at a program in the UK where Bawumia came and gave, made a presentation to the people in the room, etc., and he made him proud. I think that was quite nice, and his description of him as a man of destiny was quite profound for me. I think that he had a good message, and he delivered it in the best way he knows how to do. I mean, passionate, data-driven, generally a good message. I think what has dominated the discussions really is the issue not about the message, but the issue about the messenger and what many have called credibility of the messenger. For some reason, Bawumia has been portrayed or painted as somebody who is not credible, or somebody who doesn't speak the truth. I think those matters have come up at many fora. I don't think he's a liar. I don't think so. He's a politician. He makes promises. Those promises sometimes, do not materialize. But for some reason, and framing is part of politics, like Mahama was framed as an incompetent person, and that tag still remains on him. So no matter what he does, the tag of incompetence, or when you mention incompetence in the arena of politics, it points to one person, and that's Mahama. No matter what he does, that tag is there. I think his opponents have tried to tag him that way, and it appears to be going far. Now, a lot of the things that people say today is, how do we know, how do we believe that he's able to do it? And you see, he also doesn't help himself because of the government he's belonged to. He's been a key player of the government. And indeed, when he was coming, he was sold to us as the guy with the economic messiah, the guy to come deliver us from the mess of Mahama's economic mismanagement at the time. Now the question is, many years after you have come, are we better off today than we were then? He tried to do so, or answer it in the affirmative, by making comparisons. Inflation was this, exchange rate was this, the percentage in our time is better, etc. But he doesn't appear to know the sentiment on the ground. The sentiment on the ground right now is not about those comparisons. Those comparisons are great for academic purposes, perhaps. But the reality of the situation is that the past you are painting for us to point to us that the present is bright and the future perhaps is brighter. A lot of the people have lived through that past. And the question people will ask themselves is, did we feel the economic hardship and the difficulties we are facing today then? It's a question everybody can answer for himself. So once you answer for yourself and it's not positive for Bawumia, then that's a problem. Because he's telling you that, no, we've done this, we've done that, our indicators are better when you put everything together. But we lived through that time, and we are living now. Are we better? Now you come around to say that, okay, e-levy, which was a major discussion point in the past and still remains so, and the government didn't hear when they wanted to take 1.5 and they took 1.5. They did not listen to anybody. They went round. It didn't really work. They've come to make it 1.0, and all of that. All of those things did not make government look good. It did not make government look like a listening government or a government that is empathetic. They lost that opportunity. Now you say you want to reverse it. Reverse it now. Why do you want to wait till next year when you come?
He says he's not in the driving seat. No, he's the mate. And secondly, with the EMT, they only provide recommendations. I don't even want to hear the discussion about the EMT. Who makes up the EMT? He, Bawumia himself, some time ago at a fora, I think at the College of Surgeons and Physicians, around Rage, when the issue about the exchange rate and all of that came up, he assembled the economic management team, and he made a big deal out of the quality or caliber of persons on the economic management team. Who are they?
Ken Ofori-Atta, who is finance minister, Alan Chemantin, trade minister at the time, Yao Safuma, senior minister at the time, Boache Jakun, I think he was energy minister, or he was energy minister, Professor Jamba for Dr. Antonio Akotose. These are the people. These are the people. So if you put these people in a room and you say that what they come out with, and chaired by the vice president, and you tell me that what they tell you is just advisory, who is taking the decision? The only person not in this list, in the scheme of things, is the president. Who else is more powerful in the government than these people? Hawa Kumsin? Adwa Safu? Who? These are the people not here. Apart from the president, who is not? Who else makes decisions?
But the president can decide whether or not to take that,
Yes, but you can't tell me that every single decision that the economic management team has come up with, the president has vetoed them. I'm not sure that's how it works. It could be advisory, but you can't tell me that every single decision, and Bank of Ghana boss and all of these people are part of the economic management team. Okay. You can't tell me that all the decisions these people have taken, were vetoed, and so their role just became advisory. Tell us something else. And you see, he doesn't also help himself, because when did he know that the role of the economic management team was just advisory and that the vice president was just a driver's mate? Was he not the one who harassed and tormented Mr. Attah over some 170 questions? Did he know at the time that he and Mr. Attah, as chairman of the economic management team, then was just chairing an advisory group, and that he was just a mate to a driver? When you put all of these things together, and the U-turns he's been trying to make about the e-levy, etc., I don't think that all these things help his case. I didn't hear him say that. I thought he could have opened the discussion by being empathetic to Ghanaians, that we came with good intentions. Of course, we thought we could do this, or we planned to do ABC. Indeed, we started well in 2017, 2018. The indicators were looking good, but something happened. We went off, we derailed a bit, but it appears we are finding our focus. We are finding, we are getting back into the mood, and we are doing things better.
But not do the blame game.
You be empathetic. Yeah. And I think Ghanaians would have, but Akufo earlier, apologized that he criticized things a bit too harshly because he was not in the seat. Till date, we refer to that as being the mark of leadership. I expected to see a bit of that, because people are suffering as a result of, mismanagement and bad decision making, financial crisis, DDEP, and all of that. People have lost things and they are suffering. The last thing they want to hear really is this kind of comparison, which when you do the maths, will appear as if you are even better, you are better off then in terms of the cost of living, etc., than you are today.
Okay, then let's bring in some minds on this matter. Selorm believes that Dr. Bawumia should be more empathetic and not push the blame on others. And his role as vice president, he should be able to take or push key agendas to go through. For example, not wait till he comes into power to abolish e-levy and others.
Wow. Well, I think there's a point to be made there. If you're vice president, you are seen as the second president, because technically, in the absence of the president, you become the president. So people see it within that context. The fact still remains that being a vice president of the Republic of Ghana is largely ceremonial, unless and except you have been something has been delegated into your hands for you to execute. And that's what I know of the role of the vice president. It does not absolve you of any of these things. Thing is that once you own up to the successes, it's also important that you bring your mind to recognizing the failures. And I think that's where the discrepancy is. But on an occasion like this, where he sets out to tell Ghanaians what he would do if he becomes president. I get it. You are part of a running system.
Yeah.
So it's important to recognize the failures of the running systems as recognized, for which reason you want to up the game and make it better. But skipping it will open yourself up for a lot of questions. So I'm not surprised that people are asking these questions. Having said that, I don't think there's anything wrong with Dr. Bawumia telling us what he would do if he were elected president. Indeed, that's why he organized the event, is to tell us what he would do as the president, not as the vice president. I mean, there's not a lot you can do as a vice president if the president thinks differently. Now, if today Dr. Bawumia tells us the number of things he will reverse, that should tell you that from the get-go, he most probably was not in agreement. But I would not expect the vice president to go to town and criticize his boss. It never happens in Ghana. The last time Accra tried, somebody
he was beaten up. And his shirt on.
And again, his engagement yesterday was largely driven by if like academic discussions and policy issues back and forth. I wouldn't say that it was so political. You know, I wouldn't say it was so political. And again, the issue of people have problems with comparison. But what was he supposed to do? There has to be comparison. I mean, President Mahama is always talking and referring to what the MPP is doing. Isn't that comparison? President Mahama has been president before. Indeed, he has been president before. Dr. Bawumia has not been president before. Now, don't we think that it's okay for President Mahama to say that when I come again, I'm going to do things differently? What's wrong with that? He should be able to tell us because he's been there before. Now, the one who has not been there before has played the role of a vice president, thinks that, well, given the feedback I am getting from how things have been done, I think I need to do things differently. I don't see anything wrong with that.
But he still has some time to change things. He has till December, for example.
It does not lie in his power. Never in the history of this country has the vice president, a sitting vice president, been the master driver of any government. If I am wrong, somebody should point it out. You can only suggest, you can influence if it comes within your purview. But to be the one to change, I haven't heard it before. Yeah. I have never heard it before.
But if you look at something like the e-levy, where across board, everybody or most people want it changed, your party is still in power. I mean, you are leading the economic management team. You're saying that you cannot do anything to deal with this, but you wait till you're president?
Not to wait. He says that if I am given the power, I will change it. It only tells you that where he is now, he is unable to change it because of the structure of government. He's not the boss. The boss is there. If the boss takes a decision, he can only suggest.
But is it fair now to blame the boss for everything? Because that is what it's looking like in terms of the unpopular
maybe things. I missed the blame part. Yeah. Maybe I missed when he blamed.
To say that, well, I'm not the driver, I'm the mate, so I can't do anything. If the car is going the other way, well, I'm not the driver, I'm the mate, so it's not me. It suggests in a way that...
Well, it suggests that he is not in charge. Now, he will deal with things that he's mandated to or delegated for him to do. I mean, that's how I see it.
So I mean, apart from the fact that we know that it's a ceremonial role and all that, what else is he able to do with these?
Well, so maybe I think it is, again, how he was portrayed to us, okay? Because words are important. So if you tell me that you are bringing the man and he's the economic messiah to come and fix it, and he's come, the indicators are not looking good, even maybe worse than it was for various reasons. The question is, that messiah you are bringing into the boat to save the boat, has he delivered? That is the question. It's a very difficult situation, really, because here's a case, he wants to assert himself as somebody who was not in support of some decisions, but he is still vice president, and he needs the support of the man, of the driver, to be able to win, because you run on his record, which is the record of all of them. So it's a very difficult thing. I don't know whether he did it well or he did not do it well. And now people are saying that maybe the man, even Nanado, was not at the meeting, which means a problem. I don't even think Nanado should be at the meeting, at that program. In fact, his wife was there.
Meeting?
Yesterday's program.
No, he's out of the country.
Okay, you see. So all these people making those points. So I was telling somebody, I don't think he should be there. The wife was there. And if you're a married person, you can't go somewhere once you send your wife there,
it seems... You should have waited for him to
no,
come back
I don't
before.
think so. No, Nana himself, if he was in the country, I don't even think he should be there.
No, he won't.
Why
be there.
not?
Well, I thought being there...
It's a party event. President Kufuor was there.
Well, so he wasn't there, but his wife was there. So that's fine. But it would have been interesting to see how, or to see his face while the man would be saying that I'll reverse this if I get a chance.
Marcelo, you are not suggesting that even if he were there, the reading of the text would have been the first time he would be hearing this.
Actually, when he was elected the flag bearer of the party, his acceptance speech at the stadium, he made similar statements. I'm a man of my house.
Yeah, that's what you don't say.
I'm saying that for yesterday. I'm not sure that even if Nana Addo were there, hearing the Bawumia on the podium would have been the first time he would know what Bawumia was going to say. Politics is not crafted.
Yes, of course.
Way.
They would have dealt with the matters.
Yeah, I mean,
they would have dealt with the matters. They would have dealt with the matters. But it's a very difficult situation, really. And I don't know. It's a very difficult situation.
This is about the sixth time.
Yeah, because it is.
It's hard
for example, now you tell us that the way things work is that finance minister is in charge of the fiscal, which is true.
Yeah.
Bank of Ghana boss is in charge of the monetary, which is true. And then now you chose the role of the facilitating, something, which is digitalization. We didn't know that. We were told that you were the guy. They brought you, they plugged you from the Bank of Ghana to come and fix the thing because the thing was bad. So come and fix it. And you took it, you were happy with it. You delivered lectures. So what is he telling us? The lectures he delivered, the lectures with Dunyame interest rates and all of that. The fundamentals are weak. This will expose you. All of that. What has happened to all of that?
Exchange rate will expose you.
What has happened? That is the question, really. What has happened to all of that? And some of the interesting things. I mean, so betting tax, for example. And so he tried to do something very smart, which is what politicians do. So the 50 ministers thing was great because it doesn't make Mohammed's thing now attractive. Because Mohammed said 60. You said 50. If a strong political force, which doesn't exist now, comes to say, I'll make it 40, and it's a credible force, the 40 will be what people will be looking at because it's better. We want to be lean. Now, he says betting tax. A lot of the young people do betting. And these young social media people, they don't care about many things. So what interests them is what they will go for. So you tell them, I'll scrap bet. Muhammad said that already. So now it appears there was momentum in that direction. Now he says he will scrap it. So now he eats into that momentum. So, well, some may come to him, others may go there. They shop at the national service. Quite interested. A lot of university people or young people think that national service is a restriction. It restricts them. You finish school, you can't do what you want. You go to some village somewhere, you don't even get food, mosquitoes will bite you. That's how people see national service, young people. And now somebody is saying that I'll scrap it. Or no, it won't be compulsory.
If you get a job, you're fine.
It will be optional. Yeah. That I think is an attractive proposition to the young people who think that national service sometimes restricts them or stops them from doing things. But really, I don't see how that helps. Because there's unemployment all over the place. The figures are growing by the day. I think what national service does, apart from this whole thing about national cohesion, patriotism, etc., is that it gives government some 1 year space to rest a bit. Because if after school you are moving straight into the employment market, I mean, it's tough. But government knows that there's some 1 year for these people. You can put them in villages, schools, they will teach, pay them small. We can manage that before they come out. But now straight from school, well, it's optional. Yeah. Straight from school, I get to the job market. I think it's going to increase the pressure on government. Apart from all the things that national service will do to you. You have to pay back, you have to do that, I am not sure. But politically, I think it's a good promise, especially for the young people. And even free SHS. We've spent a lot of money on these guys. A lot of them will be free SHS people. How are they giving back? Maybe there are other means, but the national service often, yes, you may argue that it's not really the case. You could give back in many other forms. But I don't know how it will pan out. But it's politically a nice promise to make. Okay. But I don't know how it plays out in the bigger scheme of things.
I think the national service thing is something that I've never really processed in my thinking before.
As in the current situation?
Yeah, no,
what is
optional.
Making it
optional.
optional.
Okay.
I think it's not to cancel, but to make it optional. And then the situation you described, you know, I mean, whether students leave school straight into the job market or they leave national service straight to the job market, it's like a zero-sum situation for me. It really doesn't matter. Whether they left last year or they left this year, the truth is that at some point they are all going into the job market. Mm-hmm. But what they are saying now is, look, we don't want to restrict you. If you are out of school this year and you have an opportunity for unemployment, please go ahead and get employed. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Indeed, there are lots of undesirable offerings within the national service space today. Mm-hmm. And so if there's an outlet for people who have opportunities outside of the national service, I think that should be okay. Mm-hmm. And that's, for me, a lot of questions come out of the whole presentation. The national service one shouldn't be one of them. Because really, what's the point? You graduate from school, there's a job waiting for you, or you graduate from school, you want to do your own business, and there's opportunity, and they are now saying that you can go straight. I think that is hooray for the young people. Okay. And those who think that the national service offers them an opportunity for job training and all that, it's also available. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good one.
Okay. What are in your initial remarks? You said there were some things that you felt that should be interrogated further.
I said everything. It's okay if people want. I mean, look, you want to be the president of the land. There's no way you want to you make a public statement and think that people are not going to interrogate. Everything will be put to strict proof. And I have the feeling that he's energized to go through the long haul. We heard him say that. He says that even if he wins, he's not going for honeymoon. You know? So he's calling for the fight that, look, we are ready for the long haul. And so, and this is not going to end here. It's not going to end at all. I mean, 50 ministers, you know what that means? It actually means 34 functional ministers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 34 functional ministers. You know, so 50 minus 16, and I take the 16 regional ministers, you are left with 34, mm-hmm. which means that he's going to have to collapse some of the useless ministries, the redundant ministries where somebody can travel for 3, 6, 8 months and the ministry is just working. Like that, no driver. It shows how useless some of the ministries are. So I don't think it's rocket science to collapse some, to merge some, so that we can now go back to the structure and strengthen the chief director positions, mm-hmm. so that the chief directors will now take the role of their principal secretary functions that we used to have. Because in most of the places, you have a minister, deputy minister, minister of state, and then special assistant, and then all these hangers on. Yeah. You understand? Bloating the budget. So if somebody says, I will do it, let's see how he does it.
Okay. I have to take a quick break. This is what the papers are saying. My name is Vivek Kai, local. I'm here with Attah Mensah as well as Selorm Adonoo. We'll take a quick one. We'll be right back.